welcome to breakfast in America. They say these are the world's best crepes. We'll find out. Welcome to a midweek that used to be rare, and now they just seem to happen like all the time. It's the way it is, right? I've got some old friends I brought back in, a few stories that go with those old friends. So just sit right back there, kiddies, and relax, and we'll go through all of this. Brand new phone. My sons were signing up for Verizon. My son and daughter-in-law were signing up for Verizon. And, they jumped onto our account, and they go, "Dad, your phone is like really old." I go, "Is it? Has it been that long?" It's like an iPhone 7. It works. It's great. But now I got a bigger screen. I can actually maybe see things. So the older you get, the bigger the screen you want. So we'll see how the clarity is. It should make me look a whole lot older. You'll see the wrinkles more. But let's get into this, right? We'll begin with Super Tramp. This is the MoFi of Breakfast in America. What was this? This was 77, 79, 79. I was in college when this came out. And this thing just ruled the airwaves, at least in Nebraska. It did. I mean, you had the Logical song was on here. Take the Long Way Home was such a great thing. Goodbye Stranger, Gone Hollywood. But the big one, Breakfast in America. Don't you look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. Not much of a girlfriend. I really don't get a lot. Your girlfriends never wanted you to sing that song to them. I think they just thought, well, what's that about? But it was fun. Now, this album, it sold like 1 billion copies. And you can get it cheaper. You can just go buy a regular pressing and have it. And, obviously I bought it brand new when it came out. And don't have it anymore. At this MoFi, I found this was used. And it's like, God, do I want it or not? With MoFi, now I'm not buying all the MoFi. It has to be an album I really, really like that I want to put the money in for it. And that's the case with this. This is just something I like. There's a lot of MoFi I won't buy. It's not important enough to me to demand that kind of quality. But this thing, it's a college album. And you don't have to be in college. Just think when you're 19 and 20, what music just kind of hits you and you go, man, that's good stuff. I got to have that. It makes you happy. So happy to get that back in. Punk. Important punk albums. Brought in these two. Had to get reissues. I've been trying to get online, not finding them. Found this in the record store. This off Amazon. I think this is like $14. X. X is one of the most important punk bands ever that came out of Los Angeles. I think this one came out in 1980. This was done in 83. This was their fourth album. This was their first album. When I first heard X, it didn't do a lot for me, but I kept listening and listening. And I really became just a huge X fan. In the late 80s, 90s, you could buy X albums, the OGs, for next to nothing. They were easy to find. They were all over the place. People were dumping them. They had the greatest names. Billy Zoom on guitar, John Doe bass vocals, Exene on vocals, DJ Bonebreak on drums. I recently showed that X album that came out last year. It's right up with these. It's so dang good. Both of these are classics here. This is obviously Los Angeles and more fun in the New World. And the song More Fun in the New World is just one of those classics. But they had a couple ballads on here that were really, really good. And for whatever reason, when I was trying to save some albums, again, you only have so many that I could save, I didn't save my X. I was just thinking how easy they were to find. Now I look online, holy crap, they want a lot. But here's the funny part. So these all went away. I had the complete early X. Nothing. I saved the vinyl on Jay Ferguson. I just got the cover. So this is the cover, $2. I saved the vinyl for this, but not for this. But there's a reason. This came out, what year was this one? 1979 again. It was a college album. Thunder Island was one of my favorite albums. And, that was a Jay Ferguson. This one came out, and it had Shakedown Cruise on here. And I just love that song. I mean, it was a buoyant album. And the memories, there was much more memories associated with this than this. Problem is, I could have picked up this for $2 right now, and this for, $40, $50, $60 for an OG. It's the craziness when something is happening in your life, and you're really not thinking straight. You just have this giant room with everything chaotic, scattered everywhere, and you just trying to think, what can I save? So I did save the vinyl for this. Now I got my cover. I need Thunder Island. These I didn't, but I'm happy. The first 2X albums, I will. I have another one on the way. Wild Gift is just another one you have to have. Just delighted. They sound so damn good. God, X is a great group. Another punk classic that I brought in. I did save the vinyl, but my vinyl wasn't OGs. Marquee Moon by Television. I actually had OG on Adventure cutout bin, like a $2, $1 album for their second album, Adventure. But Marquee Moon is just another classic 70s punk. It's hard to even call it punk. It's, maybe it's just kind of like Talking Heads. They might get labeled in there, but there's a lot more to it. It's really this is not 3 chords, it is so much more. This had Venus, it had Marquee Moon, which goes on forever, Torn Curtain, See No Evil. It is, and most of you know this. It was such an amazing album to me. I have this love of the 70s punk, and this is the kind of stuff that just made me, just go, this take your breath away. It was so good. It was so different. It was so original. That's what they were about. Let's just do something different. And they did. And I started, really getting into groups like this, probably, again, it was toward the late 80s. Rhino kept coming out with compilations. And on these Rhino compilation CDs, you would have all the different groups. And then I'd gone to England already a couple of times, and I bought punk compilations there. They introduced me to a whole new world. And that's the beauty of a compilation. Especially you get these CD ones that are filled with them. And I have some boxes. I have a lot of them, and there's some I definitely want back. I really need them because so much good music. That's where I learned about Television. And then you found it in budget bins. So glad, can't talk, to see it. My original vinyl was in this blue. It was a special edition that came out. 180 gram. Not the case with the vinyl actually inside of here. It's just black, but so super cool. This was a newer album I had bought from an older group, Death. And the name of the album is For the Whole World to See. So Death came out of Detroit, think MC5, but it's from the African American point of view. This thing is raw, it's ragged. There is no funk, there is no soul. It's tear it up guitars. It's very much punk type attitude before punk was there. MC5, Iggy and the Stooges, Death. That's how it all flows. And so this has been reissued. Easy to find out there. An original, obviously not easy to find because they went into obscurity. But then, I think there was some film and they began coming back to life and people were interested in them again. But for anybody, if again you like 70s, the punkier music, this is an important album because it sets the stage for what others would do and others would follow. And it was one of the few, you know, when you think totally African American groups doing that kind of music. Really neat stuff. Very, very cool. I would listen to Television and X over this. This thing's loud. It really is. I mean, it'll blast you in the face. MC5. I was happy to bring this one back in. The Cooker. Yep, lost all that, you know, all these tone poets. But here's one I really, really liked. I'm not going to bring back in all the, it gets expensive to try to bring them all back in. Let's just face it. But there's certain ones I liked. You think about this one. This one came out in 58. Lee Morgan, 19 years old. 19. What were you doing when you were 19? Were you making a classic album that to this day is still incredible? Or were you, well, in my case, I working in the library at college, running cross-country track, playing grab ass in the dorm, I guess. You know, everyone else, you know what? You might have been out watching concerts when you're 19. Hey, most of us were not making a classic album at age 19, but he sure did. You know, the Philly Joe Jones, Paul Chambers is on here, Pepper Adams on sax, Billy Timmons. I liked when this came out. I love this album. I thought, gosh darn, it's so good. And I did save the vinyl, which probably would have been fine, but I thought, no, I want the whole thing. So happy to bring back in Lee Morgan's The Cooker. I just hugely, you know, after Miles Davis, I really think probably Lee Morgan pops up there. My favorite. Another one. So happy to have back. Echo and the Bunnymen, Ocean's Rain. So this is mid-80s, 1984. You know, Echo and the Bunnymen was one of those groups when they were out in the 80s. You know, I'm in my 20s. I was in my early 20s when these guys were playing. They didn't resonate with me. They seemed kind of mopey, kind of depressed, you know. The music wasn't anything. Where's the happiness? You know, the Eurythmics are putting out some pretty peppy stuff. I thought they were pretty good. Howard Jones was doing his thing. Thomas Dolby. That's where my head was at. And like Echo and the Bunnymen, Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians. There was this whole kind of the Smiths. It was a whole different, you could say, genre of British bands that were on that side that seemed a little more gloomier, coming out of the Joy Division, I guess, grouping. Later, I began to get into this because of certain hits. This one has The Killing Moon. And I think The Killing Moon is just one of those incredible singles. It's beautiful. I could probably be happy if I had an Echo and the Bunnymen greatest hits. It has what I want. That's not to say this isn't packed with good songs, because it truly, truly is. It's just as you try to keep a collection within a certain size, you know, you have to decide, who do I really want to have a lot of and who don't you want to have a lot of? But yeah, I'm telling you, good price. How could I say no? I saw it there, and you know what? I would pick up their very first album. I definitely would love to get, but Killing Moon, cool, important album. Really meant a lot, and happy to have it back. Bring back. I like to say good '80s vibes, but I wasn't liking them during the '80s. They came later. Compilations, box sets, CDs. Finally. You know, if you could find those, if you're just trying to, man, what kind of music do I want? I want to expand out. I mean, there's so many cheap CDs out there, and you can find these compilations. And I was huge into CD compilations from the 50s, 60s, 70s, rockabilly, country, punk, soul, gospel. It didn't matter. I would buy it because I would learn about groups, and that's how I just kept expanding what I like to this now, where who the hell knows what I like, because I just buy too much. Final one I want to show, the Temple Sun Structures. When this came out, I bought it on CD because that's pretty much all I could get. blew me away. This came out in 2014. It was the most awesome sounding album. It was psych. But it was hard rockin' psych. My God, it sounded so good. Eventually, I found it on vinyl, so I bought the vinyl. Well, funny how things happen. So I lost the vinyl. It wasn't one that I saved. I saved so much. So here it was. I saw it out there and I thought, damn, I love that album so much. So I brought it back again. Now, quite honestly, their follow-up albums, I bought them. I didn't like them that much. If I had to pick, for me, a Temples album to play, Sun Structures would be it. Every time. This was good. I just totally enjoyed it. So, super happy to bring that back into my fold. Very clean copy. The record store I bought it says near mint. The thing's been opened, the thing's been played. That ain't near mint, man. It's only near mint if I open it and I play it and put it away. Now we're talking. But it is super clean. So, some more people back, some more albums back into the fold. Exciting. I have to continue to look and weed things out, to put things in. It's getting frustrating at times doing this because it's, you get to a point where, boy, what's that one's really good. I like this one. But we do that all the time. A lot of you do. And, I seriously could add more shelves in other rooms and put on, but trying to be smart about it. So thanks for hanging out for me. And look at that, did fairly fast. So some more stories, some more lost friends. Great to have back in. And new camera. What more can you ask for? Everyone have a great week. Bye.